Recruiting for 2025 is a hot topic of conversation amongst Dragons fans at the moment. Addin Fonua-Blake, Joey Manu, Tommy Dearden. I want to ask you, out of these players, which player do you think makes the most difference to the Dragons' chances in 2025? Who is the player that we should be building around? And do you think any of these players are actually going to come to the Dragons and sign with the Dragons for 2025? Let us know your thoughts.
Interesting question about Dragons recruitment for 2025. I think at the moment it looks like we're going for anyone that's off the market, but I think it's probably a more targeted approach than we think. I would suggest that out of those players, the player we need the most is Addin Fonua-Blake. Not for culture, he's also a junior. He'll bring a bit of aggression and a mongrel to the pack, and we can build a team and a pack around him, obviously. And obviously the second player we need out of those three would be Dearden, but I think it's unlikely we'll get Dearden. Why would he leave the Cowboys? And I think it's unlikely we'll get Manu. I think you'll see Manu at fullback for the Roosters sooner or later. Tedesco moving somewhere else, or maybe retiring. I'd love to get Manu, but I think with Lomax and Sloan we can get through. But I think Fonua-Blake, if he was the first player we could get out of those three, he would be the one we could build the club around, and he would also attract some other players as well. I think Fonua-Blake for mine, and I think we can build the club and pack around him what a super player he is.
Very interesting question, Donnie, and a good one. Obviously, those three names have been thrown around quite a bit of late. I think out of the three of them, the one we're probably most likely to get, only going on reports, is probably Addin Fonua-Blake. Although the Bulldogs' mysterious salary cap has come into it again, but Manu probably the least one sort of to be expected to come over, and obviously Tommy Dearden. There's been a bit of word about him, and just of late, some word that it might have happened. So we really don't know, but certainly would be an asset to get either of those guys, one, two, or even three of them. I mean, that'd be ideal to build around. Probably Tommy Dearden, I think. Obviously, with Ben Hunt moving on in the next year or two, there's someone there to build around, and Tommy Dearden certainly could be that man. And Addin Fonua-Blake certainly is going to be a great inclusion in the forward pack if we can get a hold of him. And Joey Manu, well, he's anyone's guess. It looks like he will be sticking to the Roosters, but hey, wouldn't it be good if we get all three of them? Cheers.
Yeah, the one that really gets my heart racing is Joey Manu. I think he is just a sensational player. He is the kind of bloke that you can build a rugby league team around. He's just a fantastic player to watch. He can create something from nothing. He's got all the skills. He's aggressive. He's good defensively. So for me, that is the player that I'm all in on. That's the player that, I don't care if we have to pay him $1.5 million a year. Get him. Now, in saying that, I think the chances of as actually doing that are pretty slim, and the chances of him leaving the Roosters, they seem pretty small. You'd imagine Nick Politis is going to move heaven and earth to try and keep him at the Roosters. He's their future fullback. He's the guy that's going to replace Teddy in the next couple of years, and he's a big part of what the Roosters have planned, and they're not in the habit of losing players they want to keep. The other one, Addin Fonua-Blake, I think he is everything that we've been lacking for such a long period of time now. We've been looking for that big, enormous, just back-breaking front rower that bends the line and has an actual impact on the game. Not a work rate player, not a guy that's going to give you his heart and soul and make every tackle and be involved and put in 100% effort. We've got those players. The players we're missing is the dynamic players that can actually change the momentum of a game. Addin Fonua-Blake fits that to a T. The only reason I would have Joey Manu above him is because I sort of look at what's behind what's coming through, guys like Loco Tonga, who I think is going to be an absolute star. He is in a similar mould. He is a big guy, really good skills, plays with aggression, but can also play with you know, a lot of ball playing ability, both before contact and after contact. He's fast for a big guy as well. He moves well. He's got good agility. I look at players like him, Alec Tuatavake, Viliami Fafita, these guys that are sort of coming through that sort of fit into that sort of mould as well. Now, they're not ready. So Adam Fanua-Blake, to me, is still an important piece of the puzzle that would make a huge difference for us. The one that I'm least excited about is Tommy Dearden, and it seems to be the one that we're most likely to get, I think. I kind of feel like he's a little overrated, and that we're going to pay more than he's actually going to deliver for us. He's a decent player. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're all very good players, and they'd all make our team better. But of the three of them, I'd have Tommy Dearden at the bottom of the list, despite the fact we're in desperate need of halves as well. If I'm painting a picture here, it's that we are in desperate need of pretty much everything. Across the board, we are lacking that X factor. We're lacking that world-class talent. Benny Hunt, obviously, he's going to be gone, you would think. If not in 2025, he's going to retire at the end of 2025 anyway. And that'll be the end of Ben Hunt, and then we've got to find a replacement in the halves. Tommy Dearden is a lot more longer term option. I certainly wouldn't say no, but of the three options that we're sort of talking about, I'd have him at the bottom of the list. That's how I rank them. I think they're probably the other way around. Flip that whole list in terms of likelihood to actually come to the Dragons. I think Tommy Dearden is probably most likely. Adam Fanua-Blake, I kind of get the impression he's going to go to either the Tigers or, God forbid, the Bulldogs. I don't know where they find their bloody money, but those two clubs seem more likely destinations for Fanua-Blake than the Dragons. And Manu, I'd say it's a 90% chance he stays at the Roosters. I don't think there's too much chance that he leaves, unless we really open up the wallet and offer him some ridiculous money, 1.4, 1.5 million a year, somewhere in that vicinity. He'd have to think about that, but I don't think we're going to do that. So, yeah, hopefully we land at least one of them, preferably two of them.
This will be the time that Flano will have the time to put all his fingerprints on the squad. We've got about 11 or 12 signed up for 2025. There's been links to players like Adam Fanua-Blake, Joey Manu, Tom Dearden, Jerome Luai, Helam Lukey. We're reportedly the favourites to sign Adam Fanua-Blake, which would be a big coup. One of the premier props in the NRL, and yeah, we need a forward of his size and someone to go forward. We've been lacking that for a number of years, and if we can get him and get him back to his junior club, that'd be great. That's what we need. Tom Dearden, he could be a long-term halfback. Flano's already signalled that he can build a team around him, and yeah, he's already played Origin. He's still young in his career, and he can be our long-term number 7 or even number 6 if it doesn't work out at 7. But we can build the team around him going forward, and he can be our future. Once Ben Hunt does move on, and then you've got Joey Manu, who's been linked as well. Flano's unlikely. Flano said he's unlikely to come from the Roosters, but again, another player I'd love to see at the Dragons. He's a big game breaker. Won the Golden Boot last year as a fullback. One of the best centres in the NRL. Can also play 5'8" if we need him to. So he only bit of X factor we do need. If Tyrell Sloan doesn't work out, he'll slot straight into fullback for us in 2025. We've offered him a $5 million deal over the next 4 years, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. But yeah, I'd love to see those three come, and Helam Lukey's been talked about as well, that Flano is chasing, and we do lack a couple of edge back rowers. Our number one at the moment is Jaden Sewer. He comes off contract in 2024, so a lot will weigh on that as well, whether he stays or he decides to head back to Queensland. And then you've got Moses Sully, who's been offered a 3-year deal. He comes off contract at the end of 2024, so the club has offered him a 3-year deal. Whether or not he accepts that or not, hopefully he does stay. If not, we've got to pull for youngsters coming through like Savelia Tamale and Sione Finau, and there's a few other young guys coming through in that position. So yeah, I think it's a case of watch this space, but potentially if we get Fanua Blake, Dearden and Manu all at the Red V in 2025, it's going to be a different looking team to the ones we've had in the last 2 years. So the future is bright at the Red V, I think, under Flano.
Vodka!